Well, good day everybody. Welcome to another episode here at the High Desert Garden. Today I'm going to be showing you an update on the citrus trees and how they are doing in the fall. The last update I showed you was in the spring. Now, one of my viewers did ask to see this update, and I meant to get it out there sooner, but I had audio problems. So I'm having to redo the audio on it for a third time, but it is going to be a really good update for you. I'm going to show you the pink lemon, I'm going to show you the Meyer Lemon, I'm going to show you the kumquats, I'm going to show you the grapefruit, and it's going to be a great update, so let's have a look. Alright, let's start off by looking at how the pink lemon tree looked in the spring, early summer. You can see that there aren't a lot of branches along the main stem going up. It's just kind of bare because it's in the middle of that reshaping process. Now there are some little tiny branches that you can almost see starting this, and this is how the pink lemon tree looks now. You can see the new growth along the main branch there, and it's just really the reshaping is coming along very well. It has 5 or 6 new branches on it. The growth looks really good. It is flowering again. You know, it flowered during the summer, but those flowers ended up dying and falling off and not really producing any fruit. But you can see the new growth, the flowers, and it's even flowering up top here again. So looking really well with the pink lemon. I'm really happy with the choice that I made to cut this down to just one stem to have it grow in this tree type shape here. Now let's take a look at what the Meyer Lemon looked in the early summer, late spring. You can see that it also has really started putting out some growth. It is one of the first to start putting out growth along the main branch there, and growth starting. Now take a look at what it looks like now in the fall. That growth really just grew throughout the summer, and each little branch has thickened up, the leaves have gotten bigger, and I'm really happy with the progress this Meyer Lemon has made. Now I did tie up the main trunk, the main branch there. I tied it up with grafting tape because I figured the grafting tape, it's breathable and it stretches, and so as the tree grows, the grafting tape should not cause any damage to the tree whatsoever. Now let's take a look and see how my large kumquat tree did. Now this is how it looked in the late spring, early summer, and you can see I had a mistake with this tree. I nearly killed it over the winter time. It's especially hard to give these trees the right amount of water, and I was trying to be careful not to overwater, and I underwatered it. But this is how it looks now in the fall. All that new growth that you saw coming on has really started to grow very well, and it's coming along. This tree should be hopefully back to its nice big size by next spring. So watch for that update next spring. It did flower over the summer, but it didn't produce any fruit, of course. I mean, the root system right now is working on getting bigger and recovering from what it went through last winter. These are the new pots that I'm using to make sure that the trees do drain well enough without the soil really becoming too terribly dry, because that was a mistake that I had with this particular tree last winter. Alright, here's the smaller kumquat. It had a few problems last winter, but not nearly as bad as the other kumquat. And this is very similar to what the tree looked like in the spring. It really hasn't changed a whole lot. It did produce a lot of flowers, but didn't produce fruit. It did produce a few more leaves and branches here and there, but for the most part, not a big change. It is doing well. The trick will be to see how well I can take care of it this winter to make sure that it's ready for the spring and summer. And here is what I consider sort of my prize tree. This is the Blanco grapefruit. It doesn't look a whole lot different than it did late spring, early summer, because when I originally got this tree, if you remember from my last video, I explained how all of these branches, even the ones that are green here, they had this brown appearance to them because they were covered, literally covered in brown scale. And the infestation was so bad, you couldn't see the true color of the branches because they were covered everywhere. And I ended up taking a hose and just spraying them away, and literally spraying on this tree for like half an hour because I had to spray every branch, every leaf, top and bottom to spray. And I did such a thorough job. I have not seen a living scale on this tree since. I did use some organic spray, a combination of neem oil and other oils, and that has helped as well. So it's really doing well. Not any big changes or anything. It didn't experience any big growth. There is a little bit of new growth coming on the ends and the tips of some of these branches, but I am just really impressed and happy with the fact that it didn't go backwards, even though it had that scale infestation. The final two citrus trees I'm going to show you are the little kumquat that I started from seed, and the cutting that I propagated. Now, I did successfully propagate 4 citrus cuttings last winter, and they grew roots and they started putting on new growth. And for some reason, the other 3 died. I'm not quite sure why. The root systems look good. They just sort of dried up and died. And I know I provided them with the right amount of water, so not sure what happened. This one is the only one that survived, and it had loads of leaves on it. And they were perky, and they were sticking straight out, and it was doing beautifully. And then one day I noticed all of the leaves were dropping. And I got to looking, and this little cutting somehow had gotten those brown scales from the grapefruit tree that I had eliminated the scales from. Somehow got transferred onto this cutting, even though it was nowhere near that tree. So I was disappointed to see that. I immediately took the cutting and I cleaned the scales off, and I used an organic spray. But I really don't think this cutting is going to survive, because if they drop all their leaves, they typically do not survive. And this one has 1 leaf left that looks like it's going to drop. So probably won't be seeing this one again, unfortunately. The last of the cuttings that I propagated is gone. I am happy to report that the kumquat that I started from seed is doing excellent. It did not grow a whole lot over the summer. I've experienced some micronutrient deficiencies with it that I've been trying to correct. I gave it some green sand. It really came back and looked good, and then it started going backwards again. So I decided here in the fall, you know what? I decided to give it some more green sand and a bit of worm castings and then some mulch on top. And it's perked up. It looks a lot perkier than it did the other day already. And I think it's going to start putting on new growth over the winter. So many times these trees do put some growth on over the winter. And I know some people say that, you know, planting a citrus tree from a seed, you're not going to get a nice plant that'll produce fruit, and that's not true. For one, kumquats are not really a citrus tree, and they do produce a seed that is true to the genetics of the mother plant. It's called a true seed, and they will in fact produce fruit. Now, you typically do graft a citrus tree. You typically do even graft kumquat trees. And the reason people graft them is because you can graft them to a rootstock that is either more vigorous in growth, or you graft it to a mature rootstock, you know, maybe a rootstock that is 3 years old. So that way it'll start producing fruit sooner. You can get fruit within a year or two's time period just by grafting some kumquat cuttings onto another mature rootstock. Now, when you grow them from seed like this, it does take at least 5 years before you're going to see fruit. So this is typically the reason why people graft citrus trees, not because you can't grow them from seed, but because you can get fruit faster. Now, this has been a fun project for me, growing this from seed. I originally had 3 plants, and I gave one of the kumquat trees to a friend, and then I had another one die on me. So this is the one that I have left, and it's doing pretty well in my opinion, and we'll see how well it's doing by the next update. I want to thank you guys for joining me for this update. And if you want to see more videos and more updates, be sure to subscribe to the channel, because here at the High Desert Garden, I do the experimenting and I try different methods so that we could all learn how to grow better.